Good evening, everyone, and thanks for watching tonight. Now, with the pandemic 5 years removed and a federal return to work mandate in place, could we start to see a ripple effect? For sale or for lease signs around Huntsville's commercial real estate properties were starting to multiply. But is the tide now turning? WAFF 48's Nick Ballinger is live from Cummings Research Park in Huntsville. Nick, you spoke to a commercial real estate broker. He says we could soon see offices full again.
Yeah, Margot, Russ Russell oversees 3 buildings for lease here in the world's 4th largest research park. He says before the pandemic, his phone was ringing off the hook with potential tenants. But he says once many learned that their work could be done from home, the market completely changed. For sale, for lease. You'll see a sign on nearly every corner of Cummings Research Park in Huntsville, even a few barren parking lots. Russ Russell says this wasn't always the case.
We were leasing, selling. Huntsville was rocking along pretty good, and here comes COVID.
I met up with the commercial real estate agent at one of his properties in Research Park that has sat empty for the past 2 years, much like other office space around the country.
COVID made working from home from a concept to a reality, just like that.
Van Sullivan is the CEO of Tritium, an engineering consultant in the Research Park. He says his company has found its way already.
We actually went all in on the work together in a building thing.
Tritium has nearly doubled its workforce since the pandemic. Russell says companies like Tritium are starting to trash the traditional cubicle-filled office model to convince their workforce to return.
Owners of these companies want to incentivize these employees more than they ever have to get back into the office.
Sullivan says just 4 days before Alabama shut down in the pandemic, they cut the ribbon on a new floor of office space. Having
a space full and really ready to go to work to, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And then, oh my gosh, how are we going to pay for this lease?
We had some of that, certainly, particularly if you look at, some of your small businesses.
Aaron Kosha, the executive director of Cummings Research Park, says in a small sample size, the park saw a slight drop in occupancy in the year since the start of the pandemic. She believes return to work mandates will not only help the park survive, but thrive.
Majority of the companies are in aerospace and defense, and therefore a majority of that work cannot be done at home.
Sullivan tells me the collaboration between his company and others here in the Research Park is what many companies have been missing out on since the start of this pandemic. Now, Russell says the market is starting to pick up with more companies looking to gather more space for their workforce. Reporting live in Huntsville, Nick Ballinger, 48 News, on your side.